Following his recent clean bill of health, the president is back in action. He met with members of the diplomatic corps, addressed the second annual conference of local democratic organs, and also engaged with private sector and civil society stakeholders. The details of these and much more in today's news. It's Thursday, July 25. First up, it has been a productive day for His Excellency President David Grainger, starting with his engagement with members of the diplomatic corps.
I've invited you today to explain in great detail the current political situation in my country. I start by assuring you that the government of Guyana is committed to upholding the Constitution, to respecting the institutions of the state, including the National Assembly and the courts.
His Excellency met with the diplomatic community resident in Guyana at State House earlier today, assuring them that his government will ensure the rule of law, safeguarding human and civil rights, and preserving the country's democracy, especially through the conduct of free, fair, and credible local and general and regional elections. President Grainger said recent political developments have been subject to some misinterpretation of government's intentions, and they need to be clarified and explained.
The government, since the passage of the no-confidence motion in the National Assembly on the 21st of December 2018, sought to respect the decisions of the court. We have upheld the Constitution. We challenged the validity of the no-confidence motion. We defended the challenge to the constitutionality of the appointment of the chairman of the Elections Commission. The legal processes which we initiated were neither frivolous nor calculated to delay the consequences of the no-confidence vote.
Through this legal process, His Excellency said his government sought to explain more clearly and to interpret certain provisions of the Constitution. Following a detailed explanation from the December 21 vote to the court process and subsequent ruling of the CCJ, President Grainger reiterated that government is committed to complying with the orders of the courts.
I have advised the leader of the opposition that any dispute emerging out of a process which does not accord serious consideration to the government's recommendations in the spirit of the CCJ ruling will be spurious, and that I will have great difficulty in accepting such a list.
The President says steps have been taken to fortify democracy, adding that the holding of free, fair and credible elections as soon as possible will make Guyana's democracy even stronger. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
The next stop for the head of state was the second annual National Conference of Local Democratic Organs. Here, he reiterated that local democracy must be inclusionary.
And that is why we are meeting here today, to ensure that the democratic dividend is enjoyed throughout the local government system. The Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana mandates the establishment of inclusionary democracy. And I quote something which all of us should remember, like the Lord's Prayer. The principal objective of the political system of the state is to establish an inclusionary democracy by providing increasing opportunities for the participation of citizens and their organizations in the management and decision-making processes of the state.
President David Grainger. The conference, which is being held at the Georgetown Conference Center, is a collaboration between the Ministry of the Presidency and the Ministry of Communities. Minister of Communities Ronald Bolkan echoed the sentiments of the head of state.
Local democracy is integral, not peripheral or secondary, but rather an integral part of the democratic organization of the state. So says our Constitution. True democracy has its foundation at the local level. It is at this basic level that citizens are afforded the opportunity to directly influence the conditions under which they live by participating in the management of their community. This form of governance is closest to people and is the vehicle by which the ideals of participatory democracy can be realized.
The objective of the conference is to empower and equip local democratic organs to improve service delivery to the residents of their communities, towns, and regions. InfoHub spoke with some of the participants who gave their take on the conference.
A conference of this nature would only serve to boost the system of local democracy by keeping the various tiers in line, and so that from the top to the bottom and from the bottom up, we are in touch in terms of development for the communities.
We would have able to involve the community at length. Community would have benefit from projects.
I think that we are headed in the right direction, and I'm happy I'm at this conference today because it empowers us. We learn new things, we learn how to coexist, we learn how to collaborate for the benefit of this nation.
This year's conference will consolidate and build on the achievements made in restoring functionality to the system of local governance. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
Continuing the momentum of taking care of the nation's business, President Grainger met with private sector and civil society stakeholders later in the afternoon. The head of state recapped the events following the no confidence vote in 2018 and reminded of the CCJ's ruling with regard to the coalition government's current status. The president reiterated that no dates or timelines were given by the Caribbean Court of Justice's rulings.
It is not, for example, the role of the court to establish a date on or by which the elections must be held, or to lay down timelines and deadlines that, in principle, are the preserve of political actors guided by constitutional imperatives. These are the words of Justice Adrian Saunders, President of the Caribbean Court of Justice.
The president also reminded of the credentials needed to appoint someone to the post of GCOM chairman.
The CCJ, in its ruling of the 18th of June, proposed, however, and I quote again, before a list is submitted, the leader of the opposition and the president must, a strong four-letter word, which does not accommodate any variation or misunderstanding. The leader of the opposition and the president must communicate with each other in good faith on and perhaps even meet to discuss eligible candidates for the position of chairman. The aim of these discussions must be to agree the names of 6 persons who fit the stated eligibility requirements and who are not unacceptable to the president.
The president added that he has met in good faith with the leaders of the political opposition and will continue to do so. He restated the government's commitment to complying with the CCJ's order, the expeditious appointment of the GCOM chairman, and the holding of free and credible elections as soon as possible.
Free, fair, and credible elections are essential to representative democracy, but can be assured only if certain minimum conditions are met. These conditions include an independent and functional elections commission, an acceptable and credible official list of electors, and an efficient and competent secretariat to manage those elections in accordance with the Constitution. No other agency or organ of the state has responsibility for elections. Only the Elections Commission.
U.S. oil giant Exxon Mobil's commitment to local content in Guyana continues to expand. We tell you how in this report. Exxon's Senior Director of Public and Government Affairs, Deidre Moe, revealed exclusively to InfoHub that more than $58 million has been spent using the services of local companies for 2018.
So far, first quarter of this year, it was about 24 million, so almost half actually. So we're already, not even, it was like just that fourth of the way through the year. So actually our spend from 2015 to 2019 kind of doubled almost every year, and we're really probably on track to do about the same.
According to the Exxon Mobil company official, its spending on the services of local companies is made more significant by its multiplier effect.
That will increase over time as well. We're really in the early stages of kind of moving forward as an industry, right? That's one project, and it's one company. But as the industry continues to grow, that we expect that spend to continue to increase, and revenues start to come in, and over time it will grow.
Exxon Mobil is also assisting with training and offering support to the Center for Local Business Development. This facility assists local companies and individuals to not only learn about the oil and gas sector, but also to examine what kind of activities are needed and the standards required.
The center also offers a number of safety classes, and a lot of times the companies that we're utilizing, a lot of our prime contractors that are doing work very closely with local, companies that they are using to then also help help mentor and steward and make sure there's oversight to kind of help in that realm, to make sure, because I think really everyone understands how important it is to be safe.
Dozens of companies are working with Exxon Mobil in various fields. These include supplying rations and a variety of shore-based operations essential to the oil and gas industry's operations. The coalition government is also finalizing a local content policy that will define how companies within the sector are expected to utilize local content and resources in a variety of ways. Paul McAdam for InfoHub. Still to come, Geneva to Georgetown lecture series focuses on negotiation skills for diplomats and strict action needed to address noise nuisance as police officers receive more training. Details after the break.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.
The Hows and Whys took center stage during this latest edition of the Geneva to Georgetown lecture series held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs earlier today.
This is the fourth edition of the lecture series, which has great gain in modern diplomacy, according to Ambassador Ronald Austin, Director of the Foreign Service Institute. Today's exercise focused on negotiations at the diplomatic level.
It's central to diplomacy. If you're a diplomat, that's what you do. I mean, if you're sent to a conference, for example, you'll have to negotiate sometimes, not on every occasion, the final communique or important resolutions which might come up during the course of the conference.
Another aim of the lecture is to promote awareness and attention to the Sustainable Development Goals.
The series of lectures primarily on the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, 17 of them. But we haven't had lectures on all 17. That is not our intention. We've had lectures on, for example, health and climate change, for example. We've had one on the fourth industrial revolution. I think the first one is Guyana and the SDGs, the very first one that we had. So those lectures were intended to really provide information and to provoke discussion and ideas for us, to help us at the level of training our own diplomats here, and also providing the kind of data we need to improve, expand, and to inform our foreign policy.
The lecture was conducted via Skype by Ms. Yemen Wu, the Deputy Permanent Representative of the Permanent Mission of Singapore to the World Trade Organization and World Intellectual Property Organization. It was organized by Guyana's ambassador to the World Trade Organization. Ms. Yemen guided young foreign service workers and diplomats in how to conduct negotiations, as this forms a major part of their responsibility in this area of work.
You negotiate daily, whether it's with your partner or girlfriend, or with your landlord, or at work. But what's key about these negotiation skills is also about practice. The more you practice the skill sets, the more you're able to use it in the occasions, especially the important occasions in which you need to get good outcomes. As such, if you are going into a political negotiation, it's important that you find a way to practice that through a simulation exercise.
The next lecture series will be held in September. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Strict action needs to be taken to address the issue of noise nuisances, as 105 reported cases have been recorded for the first half of 2019. Minister of Public Security, the Honorable Kamrat Ramjatan, made this disclosure during a training program for officers.
The minister was at the time addressing police officers at the opening of a noise management training program. The exercise is being carried out by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Minister Ramjatan said that strict actions will force businesses to comply and build a culture of law and order across the country.
One such method is like to take the profit out of this illegality. What is that? That means if we have to deregister them, we have to do that. Take away their licenses, the GRA grants. Make it a condition that before you continue to do your bar services or whatever it is, selling liquor there, that we are going to make a condition that you must adhere to certain noise levels.
Such actions, the minister said, will be necessary since prosecutions and convictions are difficult to achieve, as oftentimes those persons placing the complaints are reluctant to testify when called upon. Executive Director of EPA, Dr. Vincent Adams, said the training will build the capacity of police officers to effectively deal with noise nuisances. However, Dr. Adams said the members of the public must also play their role.
I urge the members of the public to do their part to reduce noise pollution. Turn down the volume. Employ some technology to attenuate your noise emissions and implement good management practices to help protect yourself and others from the impact of noise pollution.
The noise management training session is the second of its kind held for 31 officers in the Guyana Police Force. The first training exercise saw 55 police officers benefiting. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and the YouTube. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy, and pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates at DPI Guyana. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye for now.